Well, congrats. Oh, that's a fantastic score increase. You got a
Thank,
168.
yeah,
Awesome.
thank you. I'm so relieved. That was a stressful time, so I'm happy it's behind me, and I don't think I'm going to take it again. I think I'm very happy with that score. And my top school was UT Austin, and looking at several different websites, that's they're like 7 point above their average. So I'm satisfied.
Sweet. As you should
Yeah,
be. That's
yeah.
great. Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was your course was super helpful. So thank you for all the time and the one-on-one coaching. It was great.
Yeah, of course. I was glad to have you in it. So what's next for you? What do you got going on?
What's next is I got to find a job that's gonna like help me, kind of look like a good candidate on these, law school applications, and I don't know, just get me more involved in the legal field and kind of give me a sense of what I'm getting into would be ideal, I think. But I was gonna ask you if you have any thoughts as to what kind of schools are looking for in sort of job experience before you go to law school, if any, like especially for someone who's just out of college and doesn't have a lot of time in between their graduation and only like a year or so.
Yeah, sure. First thing I'll say is that law schools don't really have specific expectations as to what
Mm-hmm.
job experience you have. There's nothing that you need to have. Legal related experience is nice to have if possible. The reason simply being that they like to know that you have a sense of what the legal practice is actually like in contrast to media portrayals. But that's
Mm-hmm.
really it. I would say do what you like though. Do what you like, do what's gonna help you make some money and have some fun with it.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking around. I got about a year to kill or a year and a half, and until then, I think the applications open up in August, right? Is that correct?
It
Ish.
varies from school to school, but typically you're looking at August, more like September typically. But
Okay.
you have a general sense of what they want based on previous years. Things don't really change a whole lot. And
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a personal statement. You're going to have a diversity statement option. There's optional essays and addenda. There's character and fitness. And so you can get everything together in advance. It's not like undergrad essays where they have wild and crazy essay topics. Law
Yeah.
school personal
Okay.
statements are pretty broad in nature.
And do they have like I found that when I was applying for college, undergraduate, like a lot of schools had just so many essay requirements, and like I already had a big list of schools, and then like one school that wasn't even on my top would have like five different essay requirements. Are
Yeah,
law
law school's
schools
not like
typically
that, luckily.
okay? That's good to know. So like, what's a good range of schools to apply to, or a good number? Like, what's too much? What's too little? What's like, what do you think is a safe bet?
As with so many things, it depends.
Okay.
So where are you willing to relocate for law school, or do you want to stay in a particular area?
Yeah, I'm willing to relocate. Right now, I'm living in California, but I'm kind of looking to get out of the state, honestly. And I was looking a lot. A big reason was because of the universal bar exam, and I want to have the option to move and stuff. And California is the one state that doesn't accept that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I was looking to go elsewhere, so I would just have more freedom to move, wherever I want. And also, California is very expensive. So yeah, I was looking to get out of California, but that doesn't mean I'm not willing to stay there. But yeah, relocate if possible would be good.
Okay, well, you've got 49 other states to look
Yeah.
at potentially, and you can narrow down from there. But I would say that overall, applying to at least 10 schools, I think, is generally a good idea.
Hmm.
Maximizes your options. You can potentially get more scholarship money. You can potentially get into a higher ranked school than otherwise if you cast a
Hmm.
wider net. And then potentially down the line, you can do a little bit of scholarship negotiation. You have some leverage there if you get multiple offers. So
Yeah.
that's something to consider. A few safeties, a few targets, a few reaches are generally a good way to go. But I'd
Hmm.
say at least 10. Could you do 15? Sure. Could you do 20? Yeah. I mean, I heard of one person who applied to nearly every single ABA approved law school, which was
Dang.
200 ish, but that's a bit too much. But I think anywhere from 10 to 20 is actually pretty reasonable.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good number. And I hear a lot of people talking, saying that the LSAT is like almost a one-to-one indicator of where you're going to go. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that idea. I've heard like a lot of people I've talked to said that their school was, they were able to predict where they're going to go based on their score. Um, is that pretty accurate based on your experience, or is it vary?
It could vary. I'm not going to say that the LSAT is the sole determinant or that it's a
Uh,
one-to-one. I think that's kind of an extreme portrayal. It is largely numbers driven. So LSAT and GPA are two of the biggest factors. And
mhm.
I don't think Harvard Law is taking too many people with a 140, but
Yeah.
there are people who outperform their numbers, and that's based on the soft factors. There's also an element of luck there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So don't use your LSAT and GPA as the sole criteria, and don't think that they're going to be your destiny. You could boost your odds by putting together fantastic essays or by demonstrating interest in the school. So they take note of that sort of thing.
Yeah. So like, I do have a particular school in mind that I'm really into, which is UT Austin. And, I have a decent GPA, 3.64. It's not the best, but it's, not horrible. And then I got a good LSAT score. I was wondering, like, what else can I do to specifically kind of court one school? Do I reach out to admissions counselors there, or is there any kind of extra little things that I could do to improve my chances at a certain school?
Yeah, definitely reach out to them. Ask to set up a call and have some specific questions for them to show that you've done the research.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was thinking of like preemptively moving there, just to kind of manifest it. I don't know. I just to get out there, just go and see how it goes. And
I mean, if you want to be there, if you love Austin, you want to be there and experience the city and set yourself up there and look for a job there, you could. I wouldn't do all that just to demonstrate interest. But
no, yeah, of course not. No, like I want to be there, and I think it feels like a good time to relocate. And it'd be nice to know where I'm going to go to be able to relocate there preemptively. But I don't really know, so I'm kind of having to guess. And I feel like it's a safe bet. I'm kind of in their range based on numbers, and so I feel like I might just end up doing that. But
cool. I mean, one thing I would do is, aside from simply setting up a one-off call with them. And typically, I think any admissions office, if you're polite, you say you have some specific questions, they'll set up a call with you. Like it could be a Zoom video, and then once you've made that touch point, you could then stay in touch with them periodically with updates. Not every day, not every week, not even necessarily every single month, but every couple of months. If you got something new to share with them, like for example, let's say you reached out now when you're in California, then you move to Austin in 3 months. You say, oh, okay, I just, hey, so-and-so, really enjoyed our chat. And you should obviously thank them afterwards immediately. But then a few months in, you could say, I moved to Austin, checked out the campus, loved it, got a job here doing XYZ. Like, thought you should know. Like that sort of thing is perfectly fine. Brief email.
Yeah. All right. That seems like a good move. And, I'm right like in their range. So I'm wondering, is it true? Like the likelihood of a scholarship is based on like how much you outperform their averages rather than like, I don't know, just being in their range.
That's a lot of it. So if you're above medians, that's probably the biggest way to get more scholarship money. Mm-hmm. But listen, I mean, if you have strong, compelling soft factors as well, like great personal statement, great resume, you've demonstrated interest, those things can all help too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool.
And then negotiating is another way to increase your scholarship offers. And so you say, hey, UT Austin's my number one choice, but this other school that is roughly comparable in a variety of ways. You could then say this other school offered me a bit more cost of living, and do some calculations to show if you are considering a much cheaper location with a lower cost of living, then it would be reasonable to get less scholarship money there because you don't have as many living expenses.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So like, how much do they look at GPA in comparison to LSAT?
Typically less than LSAT, but LSAT and GPA are the biggest. I mean, it could be 50% LSAT, 35 GPA, 15% everything else. That's one rough calculation I could make up about it that reflects what I generally think how those things are weighed proportionally. But every school is going to have their own unique calculation of that. And in some cases, it's personal. So like an admission officer, if they love something about your background or your resume, a hobby that you have, that could make a big difference in that case.
Yeah. Okay. And okay. So yeah. And also on the resume, I have a lot of like weird outlier things on there that I don't know how they will look to a law school. Like they could look at it as a very interesting thing and like, very cool, show like some diversity and a unique candidate, or it could be like I'm not very focused on law. Like I don't care about it. It's not my main focus. Like for I took a good amount of time off school and I went on tour with the band like around the country.
Cool.
And it was like a big tour and it was with the label and all this stuff. And I thought it was a really cool accomplishment. Like I was very proud of myself for being able to do that. But I don't know how like schools will look at that.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I would write an essay about that.
Really?
Oh, for sure. That's a unique experience. And that shows that you have an interest and you're a filled out person. You know, I think if someone has done nothing but law their whole life, it might be a strong case for law school, but it doesn't make for the most compelling conversations necessarily. You want somebody who has a variety of interests that's more interesting, and they want interesting people at their schools. And then let's say you wanted to go into entertainment law. You have the experience there that would make you a much stronger candidate for any job in that area, and you would do better in that field than somebody who's never done anything music related. So I would definitely talk about it, and I can't imagine they're going to penalize you for that. And if anything, if the person reading your file loves music or they love that genre, then that's even better.
Okay. Yeah. That concerned me because it felt like, I don't know, I had a lot of conflicting advice on it. Like a lot of people told me I shouldn't do it, and I should just stay in school and focus on the law thing. So I hope it, I was hoping it wouldn't penalize me. It would turn out to be a benefit, that someone would appreciate me doing something a bit out there and strange and getting me, even if it is getting away from the focus of law, that it would somehow come back and be a benefit.
Or definitely a benefit. I would write an essay about it. If you want to draft something up and send it over, I'll be happy to include it in the next law school application workshop we run.
Cool. Yeah, that would be great. Do you think of like personal statement or diversity thing, or what do you think it would fit best in?
Depends what else you want to talk about.
Yeah. I don't know. That is kind of like the big thing that I was very, my biggest accomplishment, I guess, or just something I'm very proud of. But it doesn't really relate to law. That's my thing. I'm just like, I don't know how to write about this and tailor it to a law school application when it's really got nothing to do with law. I mean, I guess I could kind of make up some stuff about entertainment law and all that.
Well, you said you went on tour, right? Did you with a label? So were there any contracts involved in that? I would imagine there were.
Yeah, there were, but I mean, I was just a musician, so I didn't really see much of that. Like the managers kind of handled all that, but I mean, that was involved, and there was some, disputes and stuff like that. So I guess I could bring that up.
Oh, well, then you definitely need to get more into those disputes. It might have been a while since then, but I would dig up any documentation you have around that just to refresh yourself on it, like what the nature of the disputes were, what the issues were, what could have been handled differently, what you might have wished was handled differently, what the issues were specifically, like if it were between you and the other band members, or you and the managers, or you and the record label people. Conflicts arise naturally. There's plenty of documentaries about this stuff, right? Different bands over history. So I would go into that more. Okay,
cool. Well, that gives me a lot of encouragement then. Like, I'm glad I have something to write about.
No, I think it's great. I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, thank you. So I know I'm not paying for the subscription anymore, but I'm still welcome to send it to you maybe.
Totally. Definitely.
Okay. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'll look to see how I can tailor it to a school specific, ask, and I'll do that and I'll send it over.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm happy to.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I have. If I have any more, I'll reach out, but thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, Tristan. Again, congrats on the 168.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it. All right.
Definitely. All right. Be in touch.
Yeah. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.